WFUZ-TV, Coastal Alabama, Northwest Florida, the People's Voice.
Hello, welcome to WFUZ-TV. I'm Blair Castro, and I'm here with Thomas Jenkins. Today, we have special guest, Mr. Jack Robertson, who's running for Orange Beach City Council, Place 1. Jack, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your campaign. I guess we'll start with the main question. What motivated you to run for City Council?
Well, I've been on the Planning Commission for a couple of years, been elected member of the Water Authority for 5 years, and I'm pretty much retired, and I want to just give back to the city. It's been so good to me. I think I have a lot of good ideas, and hopefully I'll get elected and we can implement them this place.
What do you think gives you experience and the qualifications to make you the perfect person for this job?
Well, I don't know if I'm the perfect person. I'm sure there's somebody in Orange Beach that probably could be better than me, but I'm running, and I know that if I'm in, I'm going to work harder than anybody else. Been on the Planning Commission, like I said, I've seen a lot of things, a lot of issues that we have that need to be addressed. We have to slow down this growth. And that's everybody's catchphrase. Let's slow down the growth. There's too much traffic and all that. But, when they say, what are you going to do about it? I think the best thing you can do as a city council person is just say no. If you can legally say no. Say sometimes you can if they build by right. I'll give an example. If somebody bought a piece of property for an apartment building and they build by right, means they don't need anything else. They go by the laws that the zoning commission has set forward, and they build that property. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop them. If you do, they're probably going to sue the city and we'll have to pay. Now, if there's infrastructure problems, safety issues, things like that, you can stop them. Speaking of that, I have spoken with ALDOT, Alabama Department of Transportation, and I said, there's too much traffic down here, it's dangerous. And finally, he got me by the arm and said, Jack, go to Airport Boulevard, go to Houston, go to Atlanta. It's congested traffic. It is very congested in Orange Beach, but it does not mean it's unsafe. It's unsafe if you've had an accident in the same location every time. So I'm trying everything. I don't agree with that. I'm trying everything I can do right now without being on the council to see what we can do to slow it down. And mainly if you vote no, a lot of times things will come up, the planning commission or city council, the developers are asking for this and that. No. If we have to slow down, we're in moratorium right now, which is good. I'm glad we're doing that to study our infrastructure. So I'm anxious to see what the outcome of that's going to be.
The moratorium in Orange Beach is 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't know if it was 6 months or 9 months. I can't remember. I think it was 9.
Do you think it should be longer potentially, or think that's
that's you can't just put one and say we're going to do a moratorium. You have to go with the state and you have to tell them why you think you need one. Give them examples of why you need one. You can't just say let's do a moratorium. And so they're heavily involved in that. But yes, I think we definitely need a moratorium. We need to study our infrastructure. I'm on the Water Authority, been there 5 years, and we've done a lot of great things on that. We're extending pipes everywhere. We've got more tanks coming in. We've got a $65 million bond to build new wells and to refurbish our old water treatment plant, build a new water treatment plant, extending north of the canal quite a ways, because we know the people's going to be moving here in 10 years. If you have any property, you probably want to hang on to it because it's going to go up. And so you got to get ahead of that curve. I'm not for sure how far Orange Beach is in that curve. I know they're trying hard. I believe they are. That's why we need a moratorium to slow it down, take a look and see. Make sure I have sewer, everything else that we need. Parking.
Yeah.
Parking these people. Golf carts. Now everybody has a golf cart. It's crazy. And they'll saying, well, it's too crowded now that you moved here, But really, when it gets to a point where it's too crowded, they talk about Destin. I like Orange Beach 31 years ago when I first came here to work. Unfortunately, we don't have that. But there's got to be something we can do to slow it down. And by voting no every time you can, legally, you have got to do that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said when someone asked me, well, how would you propose slowing down growth? What exactly can you do? And I said, sometimes it's as easy as voting no. And I feel like I was the only person that said that. So I appreciate you saying that, because really it is. And when you look at some of the developers who are trying to pass things and who works for them and who's on their boards and who their pockets they're funding money into, it kind of was a wake-up call for me, like, okay, I see why they're not voting no in a lot of this, because this is their connection or their person over here, and they're, all connected in some way. So for me, I started to piece the things together about why the no votes weren't happening like I felt they should.
Yeah, I think that's a shame. If you're not running for the right reasons or on the board for the right reasons, it's just, especially we all have to live down here. I have to deal with the traffic. You have to deal with the traffic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we need our tourists. We need to keep our property taxes low. We need to fund our schools. We definitely want our tourists. We love our tourists. But we're going to have to figure out how to handle them better. Is it widening more roads? What's it going to take to do it? It's hard to say, don't come here. But on the other hand, when they're building some of these monstrosity buildings that they don't have to, that maybe they don't have to build, it's no. If they do everything by right, a lot of this zoning was done back in the 80s. Orange Beach and incorporated in 84, 85. And so you can't downzone a piece of property. If you spent $30 million for a piece of property on the sand and said you can build a condo, we say, no, we're going to do it where you only build a house now. You're going to sue the city and you'll win. The only people who can really downzone are the people that own the property. And hey, listen, if you want to downzone, I'm all about that. And I wish we have quite a bit of property. I want us to buy more property. The more property the city buys, the less stuff is going up. Let's make another park, or let's make somewhere for people to park their vehicles when they're going to condos. There's not enough parking for that. So we have to do something now before, like I say, a destiny.
Yeah, I knew back in 2015 when Kenny Chesney had that concert in the Floribama, I was like, man, this place is about to, and I saw it coming like a frisbee in the desert. But what I wanted to ask you is, so you've been playing music around the area for a number of years now, and so when you first ran for office for the water board, did you face any people talking down to you because they only knew you from being a musician or anything like that?
I actually. Maybe like one person, maybe two at the most, but they were concerned about it. And, I've been for Alabama for 31 years. I retired in January from the weekends, but I still play there some as a single. And I'm proud of what I've done. It's bought me a house. It paid my daughter's way through college. I made a lot of people laugh. I was instrumental in donating a lot of money to charity. But I have a professional career too. I taught cardiac ultrasound for years and worked in the hospital. That was my day job. And I kept it professional, and we had a good time, but it's professional. Same thing I do on the Water Authority Board and the Planning Commission. So I guess I got two careers. One was medical field and one was playing music. Now, sort of playing music every now and then, and I guess I turned into a damn old politician like this. But I truly love Orange Beach. It's been good to me. And I'd like to get back if I can.
Yeah, that's good. It's just funny how I've seen, in certain areas, people try to downplay musicians like they shouldn't have any say over what happens in a town. Like they might not know something, or they might not have done something else with their lives besides music to have any kind of experience or curfew.
Well, I tell you, I've been around musicians my whole life, and musicians, some of the smarter people I tell you.
They get out there.
It takes a lot to learn that craft.
Yeah.
Instruments, you can't be an imbecile. And I know a lot of musicians. When you were one of them, you were in law enforcement for a long time. You've done other things. I've had rental property and owned part of a Sonic at one time. There are different things that we do, but music is good. It turned into be more of a hobby, more than a hobby, because I've been able to make a pretty good living on the side of doing it. So I'm happy about it. I don't have anything to apologize for that. But and speaking of, musicians, it could be anybody. Everybody has a voice.
That's right.
Everyone does. And everyone does. And sometimes somebody out there sweeping the floors or whatever has more common sense than some of the stuff I've seen.
Absolutely.
Especially Washington. Well, it's gotten a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you, you're originally from Arkansas, is that right?
Go Hogs.
Yes.
I lose every game.
When you first ran for your first position 5 years ago or 4 years ago, did you ever experience anybody saying, well, he's not from here, even though you'd been here like 30 years? Was that ever a issue for you, or did people ever make that argument?
No, I've had property here for a number of years, and I built a house 7 years ago, so I've been here that long, and I've been on the, like I said, water authority for 5 years. But no one really said that to me, which, if I don't have anything negative,
Yeah.
I like those days.
Yeah, sure.
That going back to the wastewater treatment facility you guys have, what I love about Orange Beach is that you guys put the wastewater plant in a place that's not residential, right up next to houses. It's kind of like separated a little bit. I feel like Gulf Shores could really take notice of that in a lot of ways where we decide to build around wastewater plants or other things. And that's sort of an issue here. I think that Orange Beach did really well at that, though.
Yeah, we're building a new water treatment plant north of the canal over on Roscoe Road, and we're refurbishing the other one, and we want to be ready. You got to be ready for everybody to come down. You got to have water. We've put brand new generators. It took like a year and a half to get them in. Huge generators at every well site for hurricanes. We want to make sure everybody has water. We're putting up a new 6 million gallon tank down on Beach Road on some property that the state owns. Hopefully that's going to go through. So we're trying to plan ahead. They've done a really good job, and we managed to keep the rates down low too. And it's a AAA bonded. As far as for the getting bonded, we got the $65 million at like 3.5% or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and but it was a while back when we done it, but luckily we all had the foresight to see that coming. So they've done a great job on that, and I'm going to hate. It's a double-edged sword. If I get elected, I'm going to hate having to leave the water authority because they've done a good job, and I really love being on there. But I think I can make it a little bit bigger impact on the city council.
What's the biggest thing you hope to do as a city council person if you get elected?
Well, it's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some things I'm not sure about, coming in there new, but, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to learn. But, the main thing to me is the growth in the traffic. And everyone I speak to, that's their concerns as well. The school, we have a school right now, it's overcrowded. That's going to have to be addressed. There's several issues. I would like to see, personally, I would like to see the school. Here's the way I think. With this AI coming out now, I think a lot of these college grads out of school are going to have a little harder time finding a job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of
It's already about that.
And I wish that Orange Beach could have a school, expand on it, and have classes for vocational training.
Yeah.
Whether it's boat mechanics, they make great money. Heating and air, welding. There's electrician, work in class, get all the book work down for it, then have be apprentice, somewhere after class, work for, or half a day, work for somebody in that field. When you get out of school, you're not strapped down to big debt and you have a job. Let me tell you, when I was teaching cardiac ultrasound, these college students would come in, go back to school because they couldn't find jobs in communication degrees, fashion design degree, and they were average about $70,000 in debt.
Uh-huh.
In debt with no chance of getting a job and had to go back to school again. I told my daughter when she was going to school, I said, here's a list of things I'm going to pay for, the list that I want. And she picked off the list that I would because I know, she's an engineer now. But I said, this isn't going to work. You call up the University of I'm not telling you anything about that. If you call up a lot of universities and say, what is your job placement for fashion design? 75%. 3 out of 4, that's not bad. If you get a job at Target folding clothes, they count it as fashion design.
Whoa.
Which really upsets me. And then kids are strapped in. College isn't what it used to be. And I hope more kids think about the vocational training. I wish they had more for girls to do, for the ladies to do. A lot of them don't want to be boat mechanics, and can't blame them for that. But I think that's where it's headed, and I want to be prepared for that. Give something an opportunity for our students to, if they want to do it, they'll have the opportunity to do so.
I like that. Yeah. And you said something too about a learning curve. It's absolutely important, I think, for leadership to be teachable and want to learn and be open and not have a superiority complex about they know exactly what needs to be done. They're going to do this and that and the other. So,
well, you have to listen, and you have to listen to people that voted for you. Well, there's going to be times if I don't know, I don't know. I've got to go out and do a lot of research. But I am on my man. I tell you, if my mind is set on it, and I look at every fact that's presented on the issue in front of me, you're not going to change my mind.
Sure.
Just because someone else or other people voting yes, and I think it should be no. Mm-hmm. And I've already proven that on the planning commission. I'll put my record up against anyone on there. And I think they've done a pretty good job overall on the planning commission. Some things I don't agree with, a lot of things I do, but even if I could make a small difference, it'd be better than no difference at all.
Do you feel I did some law enforcement training, if I'm not mistaken, originally. Do you feel like that prepares you for leadership opportunities in the future? How do you think that played into your roles later on?
Well, you're right. I did go to the police academy, but I never worked at it.
Yeah.
I was I told that I was class president and the only one didn't get a job in it. Thomas one day. But I got offered a couple of jobs, but yeah, they have to give up music, and I was making pretty good during that as well. And you struggle with the same thing.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with $10 an hour versus music.
Yeah, and it's like, so. But a lot of people in my class did very well. I think Matt McKenzie, right? He's county commissioner now. He retired. Paul Prine, he'd run for mayor. He was a chief police in Mobile. Different people in my class that I had made squad leaders but I think, and that's another thing too. Do you want to serve? Really want to serve? A lot of people want to serve and be a police officer and help their community, but you have to make a living too. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, now the money has gone up quite a bit more, and it's getting a little more lucrative. It's that who would want to be it when everybody has one of these in your face, all the time, and and I hate that, and defund the police and things like that. I'm gonna tell you, I'm diehard pro police. I've ridden around with some guys. I've ridden around with people down in Orange Beach. I'm also on the advisory panel for the Orange Beach Police Department. I've been on there for 7 years. And so I ride with some of these guys sometimes, and it's not easy, even in Orange Beach. It's not easy. You never know who you're walking up to, sure, what they have in their car. I'm too old, too scared to be doing that. I stayed in the car unless it was just...
How do you get on the advisory panel?
The chief asked me if I wanted to be on it. Yeah. And if it's something you'd like to do or something, I don't know if you guys have that in North Shores or not. It's police do fire, and it's from citizens. Things like, do you want the police officer to have their name on the side of the car when you're going through the neighborhood? No. I voted no. No, they get enough. They get enough
sure, yeah.
hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Can police officers have small beards? I put, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Things like that, or what's going on, and a lot of golf carts had to deal with them. But everybody got a golf cart story, but yeah, and so I think I've made a little difference in that as well. But I've learned a lot.
I feel like that kind of background really positions you well to have a career, and you have had a career that's very service oriented. So it shows your willingness to serve and your willingness to learn and grow and work with other people. I also went through training, but it was like ROTC, and I was planning to go to the military and I couldn't because of health issues, but that was like what I thought I was going to do with my life. And I went through all of this and ended up not doing it, but I was still like, how can I serve? How can I do what's best for my community? And I started looking at other ways to adapt. So I think it's cool looking at your background to see how you sort of had the same mentality of service and then adapted it in different career paths.
Yeah, and growing up, I always wanted to make sure I had a job where I could pay my life bill. I went to school for a year for heating and air. Never did that because when I got out, I was working in Branson making 4 times the money I could have made heating and air. I wish I'd stayed in to learn it a little more. And I went to school for elementary education, and before I graduated, observing classes, and said that's not for me. Yeah. I went back and did the ultrasound route, but I'd always go to school for something or work when I wasn't playing music. I've always had 2 things going, and now, since I'm pretty much retired, work when I want to, it's a perfect opportunity for me to try to give back to the community, and that's good to me. some of the reason why I'm running, we talked about the growth. We've talked about the traffic. You know, I love the idea of parts. We have parts in the rec department. They're doing a good job. I want to keep that going. I'd like to invest more in our school and vocational training. That's a big issue for me. And I think they're putting one of those up on the toward Bayman or Loxley, aren't they? Vocational.
Maybe that's the big news from Loxley that was going to come out today. I'm not sure.
Now they've already got the building built up there. But Orange Beach has a lot of good things that are done right now, and I want to keep all the good stuff. It's hard to find as long as we can afford it. I'm very conservative. Like I said, I live within my means, and the city needs to operate within their means. And they're doing a pretty good job at that. The main thing that the city has is the growth issue. We need to get our infrastructure a little more lined out, I believe. You know, they have the sewer. And the Orange Beach Water Authority, the city of Orange Beach doesn't own that. The county does. We're just board of directors. So I know there's some issues there we could work on, but mainly the traffic and just common sense leadership. Common sense leadership. Look at if it's black or white. That's black or white. There's a lot of things that will come up before you. And I give you an idea. Some developers will come in and they have a piece of property they can build a large apartment complex on. They come in asking for a PUD, a plain unit development, because they say, well, if you give us 2 feet over here setback, instead of building 50 apartments, we'll build 30. I'm all for that. I'm all for it because it decreases density. Some people don't want to do that, but to me, that's just common sense. We need less people down here because if you say no, then they can go ahead and build 50 or whatever they can begin with.
Right.
And I have seen that time after time where it's not voted that way. Anything that decreases density, vote no or vote yes for it. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused here. I'm getting a little PO'd.
Yeah, what we see here is like we'll see buildings being thrown up, and it just says building for lease, whatever you want to use it for. And so there's no intentional building. It doesn't feel like it's just build for the sake of building, and we'll think about what we do with it later.
Yeah, and that's the owner's priority. You know, if he wants to do that, if it's in the zoning. But you got to make sure you have all your infrastructure there. There's no safety issues. It could be safety issues from, well, you're going to bring in 18-wheelers. You don't really have enough room to turn around, or the fire department don't really have enough access to get to the back of the building. All those things are safety issues, and, you know, those are some things to say, no, it's not going to happen. And they usually come back and work it out, but sometimes they don't. But you have to be able to vote no on that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people down here, and it's just getting worse every day.
So you said something too that brought something to mind about, hold on to your house if you have one because it's going to grow because of all this stuff. And so what we are running into, just like cruising through the restaurant scene and stuff, is there seems to be a fair bit of businesses that seem more like they are being placeholders with no attention to quality of product or service, and they're just using the business to be a placeholder, pay the bill of the real estate so that they can sell it when it appreciates in 10 years or whatever.
I'm sure there's some like that, and if they want to do it, you know, that's a power of people voting. So you vote where you want to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, and if you don't want to go there, don't go there, and it won't be in business long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that happens, you know, and sometimes it's a good idea if you own the property. In their minds, it could be, but it's hard to tell somebody what to do with their property that's zoned for that and they meet all the restrictions.
No, sure.
And that's, now, can you decrease zoning? And as far as say if it's business, zone business, maybe could you say, all right, business, we're just going to be in business no more, and you can't put an apartment on there. Right now you can on bit or marina. But is that open yourself up to lawsuit? Probably so. Is it worth checking into? Absolutely. You know, I don't know. That's attorney question, but I'm going to look at every option that we have on the table.
Yeah.
But you got to be fair to the people that own the property too.
Sure.
You have to be fair to them if they do everything by right. Once again, not much you can do if they meet everything and we have everything in place. But if that's the case, we better start widening our roads. We better start thinking where we're going to put these people, because it's getting to the point now with Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, we're about running out of property.
Yeah.
And where are you going to park? I mean, where do people park all the time? You go to a condo right now, and you spend thousands of dollars for a week for a condo. Go to this condo, then you get one parking pass, and you got to pay another $60.
Good.
And then they say, well, if you can have two more, we'll let you have 3 vehicles or 2 vehicles for a 3-bedroom, $60. So you spend $120, $180. But a lot of them, 3-bedroom, you can get 2 parking spots, and you've got 3 or 4 cars coming there. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to park? There's nowhere to park. Where are these cars going to park? You know, so it's like when you build these condos now, you better have enough parking for that many cars coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I told a developer the other day he's wanting to build in Orange Beach. I said, well, before you go to planning commission, before me, now what my little vote stands for, what are you going to do in that area? You have a lot of golf carts. Where are you going to put the golf cart? They're going to be there. They built new wide sidewalks. Everybody loved them. I had the golf cart. But where are we going to put them? How many golf cart parking spaces do you not have? Little things like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people building their homes in these neighborhoods, and they're using their garage to put their jet ski in, golf carts, things like that. So they're parking out on the road, parking on both sides, nowhere to go. So little issues like that need to be addressed. Well, I talked a lot and fast today.
That's a good point, though, about parking on the road. I know where I'm from in Pensacola, you can't park on residential roads like that at all. Like, you will get a ticket for it right away. So I'm not sure what it is here, but I do see that happening more and more frequently. And it's like, where do you expect them to go? Like, what else are we going to do in a lot of those times? So that's something we definitely need to think about, the parking situation in both Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, this little stretch.
Okay, it's a mess. Go to Destin, go to 30A, anywhere down there. Well, I can't afford to go to 38. Yeah. I'm a little public, sir. Yeah. I'm stuck in the redneck Riviera, as they say, still call it that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just
trying not to. We're just lowly decisions. That's right.
I do think generally Orange Beach is very good about citizen input and citizen feedback, which I really like about the city as a whole. Whereas here, I think we lack a little bit in that regard. But I like to see that the public servants there are willing to listen to neighborhoods. And, like you said, maybe you can't do anything about it because we're not here to trample on private property rights. You're not going to tell somebody they can't build when it's already zoned for that. But they're still willing to listen to the residents around there and take their feedback and try to do something. Whereas here, I think there is, and maybe this is just my limited experience, I don't know everything either, but there seems to be a lot less opportunity for input and feedback from people that live here.
I have seen this. I've seen developers come before the commission and actually decrease their density when they didn't have to, because people had so many concerns around them and stuff. I've seen that a couple of times,
and that was here or Orange Beach?
Orange Beach. That's taking money out of their pocket, but they ain't. And that's what I love about Orange Beach. Everyone tries to get along, try to do the right thing most of the time.
Good, yeah.
And we have a lot of good people down there, developers, citizens. We just have to. And you got to remember, some of the developers, they live down there too. They don't want to fight this traffic and all.
Right.
But I wouldn't think they do. As a matter of fact, I know a few that absolutely don't want to. And they've gone out of their way to try to do what's best for the city. Instead of being this, we're going to build this instead of that. And we got some people that we got one going on now that's going to build a parking garage there. In the property. And those are expensive, to grass parking. So that's a lot of money. And they're doing it. So that's good. But the waterways, of course, you go out on the holidays like bumper boats.
Yeah.
But the waterways the city has done a lot of good things. I remember when they put the intercoastal landing down here, whatever it is, the water ramp.
Yeah.
The new one. People were coming from Foley and renting their pontoons, linking tourists at the ramp and have a good day. And the waterways were just slam packed. And finally, city shut that down. And especially most of them didn't have lighting either. So they're trying to, overall, I think the city has done a pretty good job. There's just a few things that I wish we could do a little better. And that's why I'm running. I know it's going to be hard to find someone that's going to outwork me.
Well, we sure appreciate you being with us today and talking about the platform and sharing everything. And wish you the best of luck on it for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you online and how they can get in touch with your campaign?
Yeah, you can find me at, mainly on Facebook, Jack Robertson, or my main Facebook is Jack Robertson for Orange Beach City Council. And you can get on there and you can see my whole platform. It's not Chat GPT either. Somebody tell me you do it. I'm not doing that. But, and here's the thing. You read a lot of these people's platform, and mine may look that a little similar as well. But, I promise I'm going to do this. I promise I'll do that. I just don't believe anything anyone says. I mean, I hate it.
The Coke machine in the cafeteria.
Yeah. I promise I will do this, and then they don't do it. And I'm not even going to say that. Here's what I want to get done. But I'm headstrong. I am headstrong. I could never see myself voting to put a condo or a business on a residential lot, something like that. And, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I wouldn't do it. But go to my page, Jack Robertson for Orange Beach City Council, and see what you think. I got a good picture on there, one of the most cool glamour shots with the makeup-y stuff. Maybe I get you on there and do me a fiddle intro. Or
Please, by all means.
State champion right here in Louisiana. He's the man. I miss playing with you.
Yeah, likewise. You should come over and play some music on the camera.
Hey, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I won't wait till after the election because I'm not that good.
That's a lie.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
And get out and vote on August 26th.
Good luck to you, too.
Thank you so much.